Hi, Jing.
Hi, Vic.
There's other cameras in here. Yeah, it looks like it's facing that way. Oh, there's one back there. Let's see. See if I've magically gotten access to other cameras. I think I would need like a USB connection to, maybe it's only if you're using the built-in computer.
Yes. The screen controls everything.
Yeah.
Like in camera. Which one is using right now? That's your computer?
Yeah.
Uh,
I think, I suspect.
Use camera one.
Hello, Kara. Hello, Anthony. How are you?
Hi. Good, how are you?
Awesome. Are you Kara for my class last year?
Yep.
Awesome. Good to see your black box again. We're figuring out how to use this room. It's pretty advanced. I think I'm going to give it one more minute and then get started. I see people are finding their way in slowly but steadily.
Professor,
Anthony.
I want to let you know that I'm gonna hop off from the computer and switch over to my phone.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Welcome, Faith. We'll get started in just a minute. Boy. This is a fancy system in here, guys. Okay. Well, I am ready to get started. I see Anthony's in the waiting room. Maybe I can disable the waiting room so other people can just enter.
Into the participants.
Okay.
Creating whole problems. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So I think we're looking at a smaller group. I think, in fact, I know nearly everybody on the call. My name is Dr. Victor Perotti. I am pleased to be kicking off this 4th annual business analytics competition, and I'm excited to do so. There is a group of faculty that are here. Professor Jing Tang is on Zoom with us. My colleague, Professor Ali Tosiali, is also in the audience, and we may indeed be joined by one more professor before this is all over, Professor Bui. We are delighted that a few of you have joined the live session, but actually I suspect many more people will be watching the recording of this to get a sense for this year's business analytics competition, year number 4. I'm going to walk through a few PowerPoint slides to talk about what we've envisioned for this year, what we've created for you to work on this year, and then we're going to go specifically into the problem itself, the data set and the challenge that we will distribute. We're hoping for a big group this year from multiple universities, so let's get started. I will share my PowerPoint momentarily here. Looks like maybe it's already shared, so all I need to do is go. Okay. Given the size of our audience today, if any of you have questions or would like to make a comment, please don't hesitate to shout out, and I'll definitely stop and address your interests, whatever it is that you're wanting to say. So as I indicated, this is our 4th annual business analytics competition, and we are kicking off today phase number 1. This is the earliest that we've ever kicked it off. It is October 30th, and you're going to see that we're going to have you working on phase 1, round number 1, all the way through early December. So my intent today is to first welcome you and tell you we're excited to see those of you that are participating, and especially those of you that are watching the recording, exciting to see what you can do with this novel data set that we found and the problems that we've created to challenge you. I was just talking with one of our industry partners, and they're very excited about competitions like this one. It plays an important role in helping prepare students for an active career where it's not just data analysis. It is often data analytics, business analytics in a management environment, in a business environment. And that's what this is all about. So our goals for today are first to introduce the competition, to talk broadly about the style of the competition and what we're hoping to achieve, and then specifically talk about the round 1 challenge, which we will give you the data for today and the challenge document, and then take any questions that you might have. So we're looking forward to this interaction with you. I apologize, I do appear quite backlit in this environment, but I will be driving with the slides most of the time. Okay. So if this is your first time hearing about our business analytics competition, we want to let you know that we've learned a lot over the last 3 years. And in fact, the competition has grown substantially over those 3 years. We have attracted teams from all over the world, from China, from all over the United States. We've grown in recognition, and we've attracted students from multiple universities across the United States and elsewhere, and it has also grown in complexity. We continue to look for interesting challenges, and we have worked this year to create a real challenge that is not just a technical challenge. It is a true business analytics challenge that requires you to be able to present things in a way that is compelling and persuasive and even visually appealing. The website URL is listed at the top of this slide, and I will take you there very shortly to look at our analytics competition website, which includes essentially all the information that you might need. But I want to let you know that this year, for the first time, we've nearly doubled the prize money to $3,250 across the 2 rounds of the competition. The first round this year will be a descriptive analytics competition, and the second round will be a predictive analytics competition. The second round will be much more machine learning focused, etc. Today, we're going to talk specifically about round number 1. Round number 2 will happen in the new year, 2024. Why don't we take a minute and jump over and look at this website? So you should be seeing our business analytics competition website. On the far right of this image is Professor Bui, who is one of the leaders of this event. We see some prior winners. I see Tron Shell, and I see some of our graduate students, Harsha and others, who have competed successfully in this competition over the last few years. We ask you to do essentially 3 things. The first is to register, and the next is to compete, and we would love for you to win. So we are rooting for you, and we are trying to support you in building a successful competition entry. There's a lot of information on this webpage, and you can study it at your leisure. You can find it easily by Googling or just going to the Saunders College website. I will walk you through what I think are the most salient points for round number 1. And when we come back together and kick off round number 2 in the new year, we'll talk about those. But as you can see, the prize money awarded in round 1 is about exactly $1,000. The first place team is going to get $500, the second place team $250, and the third place team also $250. There's more money available in round number 2, where we actually ask more of the competitors to do more predictive work and more communication. There are many, many reasons why you might want to spend the time to do this. Maybe your professor said you'll get extra credit for your class if you're doing this. I wouldn't be at all surprised. But you might also do it just for the experience. This is the kind of thing on your resume that an employer can be really excited about. It is a great point of conversation and a great way to develop new skills. You are invited to explore things that you may have covered in an analytics class, but probably along the way, you're going to cover things that were not addressed in the classroom, and you'll have to expand your knowledge, or at least your thinking a little bit, to address this particular challenge. We'll share the challenge document with you in a minute. You can see the interesting quotes from some of the past competitors on the website. There is a actual incentive here for people to do very well in the competition, and that is the top 3 finishers in the competition have some benefits, like having application fees waived or GMAT waivers or other things as an entryway into our master's degree in business analytics. And indeed, our current MSBA students are welcome to apply. So the competition is limited in terms of who can compete. The limitations are full-time students, both undergraduate and graduate students. We're not looking for PhD students, just those pursuing master's or bachelor's degrees. And we accept students from United States universities or universities from outside the United States. We suggest that you work as a team and that the team is no more than 5 students. In round number 1, we are focusing the competition on descriptive analytics and business problem solving, and another term you're going to see very shortly is visual storytelling. So you might very well produce visualizations and dashboards in order to make your story compelling in this first round. Today is our kickoff event. You're experiencing it right now. We're going to come back together again in a few weeks, November 17th, either 17th or 18th. I've seen it both ways. We'll clarify that on the website. But on that day, we're going to do a technical workshop where if you have questions, if you've begun to work on your descriptive analytics, your visual storytelling, and you want to meet with a team of faculty advisors to see, is this what we expect? Or perhaps to say, I didn't know how to do something. that would be a great opportunity to do so. So we're going to do that again in a few weeks in November. The deadline for the competition is the very first day of December 1st, 2023. And we are going to announce the results of round number 1 week later, December 8th. We're going to come back together for round 2 in January into February with the submission for round 2 in March. We'll say more about round 2 as the time approaches for that. This competition in the past, and again this year, will be partly hosted by our Business Technology Professional Student Club. You may well interact with some of those students over the course of your experience. They may host elements of the events, etc. So I've said already, but all the way through the process, you attend today's kickoff event or watch the recording. Perhaps you attend a technical workshop or watch a recording from there. And you ultimately need to submit the third step. You can see the button right here. You can submit your work right here for round number 1. And there's a link here for access round 1 data and challenge. Let's click that. Yeah, let's click that now and then maybe say more in a moment. So there's a number of different things here. There are 2 data sets. The first one is called hotel.csv. The second is called resort.csv. But I think our attention is best drawn to this PDF document, which describes in detail the requirements for this year's challenge. Let me pause for a minute. There's a few people live on the call here. Does anyone have a question or a comment that would help make this clearer, or shall we talk about the details of the competition now?
I'm wondering, for someone to participate, do you have to do round 1 and round 2, or can you just pick one of the rounds to do?
You can just do one of the rounds. It's not required to do both. That's a great question.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah, for sure. The intent of round 1 is to be a potentially valuable exploration for those teams that want to go on and do round 2 to follow. So it's a way to get very intimate with the data and also do some compelling storytelling. Thanks, Faith. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, why don't we watch this in maybe PDF format rather than the preview? So I will open this with Acrobat and share that instead. Maybe. I think. Let's preview it here, I guess. So the background is this. Your customer for this work that you're doing is called Global Hotels and Resorts, a top European hotel brand that has amassed, like a lot of organizations, a lot of data about the stays of different people over the last few years. One of the 2 properties in this case is a hotel property embedded in the city, and the other is more like a resort property where people go on vacation. Not only vacation, but you get the idea. We want for you to data leadership at GHR better understand the data using various tools, visualizations, storytelling, etc. So to this end, GHR has hired you to help them address the challenge. And the challenge is hosted, at least in part and maybe mainly, by the revenue management team inside of GHR. GHR would love to understand the data more broadly, but they're especially interested, as you might not be surprised about, in revenue. How can they increase the revenue of their hotels and resorts? So there's a couple tasks that are listed here, very broad descriptions. Number one, produce visualizations to help them understand the guests that are staying at their hotels and resorts, their booking behaviors, and especially the opportunities to maximize the revenue across these two properties. And number two, from a business point of view, we would like for you to, GHR would like for you to suggest some strategies that they could adopt to get more revenue across these two properties. So really, this is an exploration of the data to better understand the dynamics of bookings at these two properties, and then some creative work to define strategies to help them maximize their revenue. We are not looking at this point for predictive models. We are looking instead for visual storytelling. We're going to talk about the structure of these two data sets next. The two data sets are in two separate files, hotel.csv, resort.csv, and the data dictionary looks like this. The first column is arrival dates. There's a week number for arrival. So the first week of the year is January, first week of January, that's a 1, and so on and so on. The assigned room type, the average daily rates, that's how much they paid on average for the room during their stay, any indication of booking changes, and so on and so on. There's actually a lot of data here. I think the booking rate data will be particularly or the average daily rate will be particularly valuable as you think about maximizing revenue and what might dynamically be said to be the revenue from any given visit to the hotel. I'm not going to talk through each one of these data items, but you can see there's a list of many of them, and they range from elements about the visitor. So how many adults, how many children, are they a repeated guest, to how much they paid, when they arrived, when they checked out, what country they came from, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of diverse information here that ultimately could be visualized as you try to understand what's driving revenue at these properties and what might drive it again in the future. So to say with more precision here what GHR is asking for, they're looking for a visual explanation of patterns, trends, maybe anomalies in the data that they have captured from their hotels. They really want to maximize the revenue across both properties, hotel and resort, and the maximization strategy could potentially be different at these two properties since they are indeed sort of a different focus. The purpose of this round one competition is that you don't necessarily need to be a data scientist to do that. In fact, what you really need is a creative ability to visualize and communicate in an effective way about business challenges that GHR is having. So we are focusing here on descriptive analytics and storytelling. You can use any tools that you like to prepare your visualizations, to prepare your story. We ask that you submit a PowerPoint slide deck as your deliverable at the end of the experience. This will be shared with GHR leadership to help them understand the dynamics of their own travel industry, their own hotels and properties. We're looking for creativity, we're looking for visual appeal, we're looking for professionalism. All of these will be critical as you work to deliver a solution. So in your submitted PowerPoint file, it's due the 1st of December, we're asking for a slide that identifies the different teammates, their names, and information about where you are studying and what your major is. We're asking for an executive summary slide that summarizes the key insights or findings that you're going to share. And then you can include as many slides as you like to tell the story of revenue at GHR across these two properties. We also ask that you submit any additional analytics files that you created. So if you are working, for example, in Tableau to do the visualizations, we would like to have the Tableau files that you use to make the visualizations. The same is true for R or Python code, Excel. The technical work should be submitted alongside the PowerPoint document. If you would like to participate in this year's competition, There are 4 steps that we ask you to follow. You can access the data files in this challenge document that we're looking at right now on the website. We'd like you to form your own teams. You may include anybody that you like, as long as they're a full-time student somewhere. And each team should have no more than 5 students on it. We will do a workshop on, I see that we've listed this on a couple different days, November 17th or 18th. Which one? 17th is the correct day. Okay, so that should say November 17th. Thank you. We'll come together with you. We'll have an open session. And if you have questions at that moment, sort of partway through this visual storytelling challenge, we would welcome those at that point. And finally, on December the 1st, you'll submit your PowerPoint files and any other technical documents that you created. We will have the evaluation done, as I said earlier, by December the 8th. But how will we do the evaluation? Well, that's what the evaluation criteria specifies at the bottom. We are looking for technical accuracy and sophistication. It is great to be creative. It is great to be innovative and visual, but we are looking for the numbers to make sense. We're looking for information that is accurately representing the situation at the hotel's properties. So technical accuracy and sophistication are important. Can you demonstrate some business logic? Can you wrap your mind around being in the hospitality industry and maximizing revenue as you look across this data set? We're looking for professionalism, coherency, and a narrative flow, meaning, can we understand a sequence of thoughts and actions that lead us through this PowerPoint slide deck and would allow a business leader at GHR to make sense of it and maybe take some actions based on your work? That's what this is all about. And that's the end of the challenge document. Let me pause there and ask again if there might be any questions. I see Alexandria joined us. Welcome.
Just to clarify, there's only one submission, right? Just the final one?
1 per group, that's right. If you'd like to meet with us partway through, then we can talk through it. But yeah, there's 1 submission per group, and it is a PowerPoint slide deck, and then other files that you may have created that are more technical. Anybody else? Okay. Why don't we briefly look at the data files, or at least one of the data files, so you know what those look like, and then we will move toward adjourning this or having an open question and answer period. Why don't we look at resort.csv? And I'll just do a preview here. It always hates it when I do this. Different copy of that. I'm going to share it from Excel on my machine here. Are you guys seeing my Excel workbook right now? Resort?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
I'm looking at 3 different monitors all at the same time. So here you have all of those files that were described in the data dictionary, all of the variables assigned in each one. We have information about arrival date for an individual, their week number, information about their average daily rate. Look, these 2 people got to stay for free. What a deal. Any indication of booking changes, information about the customer, etc. So you can see this is a pretty relatively clean data set. Looks like there's some null values in the travel agent space, and you might find some other missing or null values along the way. There are about almost 20,000 rows in this data set that you have to work with for the resort property alone, and maybe a similar number in the hotel property to work with. I can scroll to the right a little bit just so you see the variability of the data. There's some basic numerical columns, number of children, number of adults. There's some categorical variables to look at. Lead time, this is how far in advance the booking was made, etc. Okay. So I think I'm going to pause there. I'll turn off the sharing and invite any final questions. Okay. I'm not hearing any, at least from the few people that were able to make this live session. So let me say the following. The website is a wonderful resource for you to learn more about this challenge. We walked through it quickly, but you can read through it in more detail and look at the data. If you have additional questions, there are email addresses available both for myself and Professor Bui for you to reach out to ask more detailed questions over time. And we're excited that you're participating in this competition. It should be a really valuable, I think, exercise, maybe financially, but certainly in terms of learning and the sorts of things that would be beneficial for a career. Okay. So if there are no more things you'd like to ask, I will end this kickoff session. We say we're very excited to work with you over the next few days and say thank you for attending. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.